Okay, recapping for the test. Good? Write in exponential form. Okay, so what is the base? So what are you repeating? 2? And how many times did you repeat it? 7. So that's what I'm looking for there. Exponential form. Okay, on question 2, is this a repetition exponent thing?
No.
No, it is just a coefficient. So 2, and we're looking at it as separate, then m gets repeated
6 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not counting, I'm trusting you guys here. So, do you see what this is doing? It's not repeating the 2. It's a separate 2, right? How does question 3 differ? So this is a separate coefficient, not connected to the exponent. What about this one? This one is involved. So this one's involved in the repetition. This one's not. This one's involved. So it's going to look like 3x repeated.
Oh, I did it right. Oh, I'm so smart.
Okay, so please take a note. Those are both going to be on the test somewhere. Where here, your coefficient did not get involved with the repetition. So look at what that looks like. But here, you're involved in the repetition. So brackets. Write in exponential form and then evaluate. So 10 gets repeated 5 times. Then there's a word, evaluate. So you need to understand what that word means. So get me the answer. So you basically have to write a number that has 5 zeros on the end. So think about what that looks like. Five zeros on it, right? So on your test, again, no calculator, I can do those things, right? Okay, oh, there's lots of negatives going on here. So, is this negative involved or separated? It's separated. So, I'm going to go -1. This is what my brain is doing. This is what my brain is doing. I'm doing this separated. So what is this? Let's try it without our calculator. So does anybody know the 16 times 16 squared number? 256, but now it has to be negative. You had that number quickly. Did you have it in your head or you? Okay. Next one. Is this negative involved or separated?
Involved.
It's involved. So this time I'm including it in the repetition. So if I repeat a negative twice, I'm now positive. Okay? Always that question. Have you noticed? Is it involved or separated? Involved or separated? Okay. How would you write this expanded? Think about how you... That's separated, and then this is involved. Okay, so check out your work. Did you have this idea? -1 separated, and then the negative with the 5 is in the repetitions, right? You did it like that. Just to keep your like brain separated with that. Yeah. Okay. When I see questions like this, I just say, hey, 4 negatives. My final answer. Positive. I always think just how many negatives, and then I know, am I going to be working with positive or negative answer? Okay. The next instructions say I should simplify, but don't evaluate. So I don't want to get a number at the end. So simplify. So this is multiplying, so I'm going to use the base 6 repeated 7 times. Okay, the base -3 repeated 17 times. Okay, this is a mistake on my paper. I have a mistake on my paper. Why? Yes, so this is wrong. So if you wrote it like that, you need to say -3 included repeat. So I have to bracket that so I can include it. Do you see how it's close, but it's wrong? Got it? That is wrong. Okay. Division. So I'm using a base 2, 6. So Coco, I'm not sure why you're needing to turn around here while we're looking at the board. Okay, base -5 with including it, and the exponent -6. Okay, exponent rules. X base to the 15. What if I asked you to expand this? What would it look like? X cubed times x cubed times x cubed times x cubed times x cubed. Then technically you could drop another level and repeat 3 x's, like 3 times 3 times 3, 3, 3, and then that's how you show that there ended up being 15 repetitions, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Each one repeats 3 times. Look at that. I have 15 of them at the very end of it all. That's what happens there. Okay, 2 more on this page. What do you guys want to do with this 9? Involve it or separate it? Separate, so don't include it. Y to the 35. Okay, on this one. 5 is the coefficient. Should I involve it or separate it? Involve it. So 5 cubed. 125 base A to the rule. Okay, write as a product of 2 powers, so you guys should know what the word product means. It means to multiply 2 things. So I'm going to separate 2 things. So what times what? 2 powers. So we're going to go -2 has to get repeated 4 times. And 3 has to get repeated 4 times. Brackets, important. If you forgot your brackets, you lose a point. Okay, these are numbers we've seen before. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 16. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. If I break these down into 2 chunks, what's 9 and 9? 81. Okay, oh, I don't have a calculator on my test, so now I need to get this. What is 81 times 16? Okay, here we go. 648. 1 and 8. No, did I do it wrong?
No, that's right. You just put the numbers the other way.
Oh, because you probably did you do it like this?
Yeah.
No, wait.
No, it's...
Wait, 48. Now I lost myself. Space. 48.
8 plus 4.
What am I doing here? 16.
Yeah, you're 4, 15, and 12.
There. Oh, yeah, because 8 plus 4. There we go.
It is warm.
Double check. Should I be positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive.
Could you just,
Yeah.
could you also just do, because the negative 2 times 3 is in the brackets, could you do that and then, because that's what I did and I got the same answer. But
Yes,
yeah,
it will be, but the instructions said to do it as a product. But this is bedmass. You should technically be doing it the bracket and then exponenting it, but
Yeah.
I can't do that in my calculator. Or I guess you could try.
So if there is
It's-
a question that says,
If it's just said evaluate, you can do that.
okay, but
But-
if it says 2 powers and
Then you gotta do it this way. Yeah. Okay, write it as a quotient. So quotient means I need something divided by something. That's what quotient means, divide, of 2 powers. So I'm going to have a 5 cubed divided by a 4 cubed. Why? It's because, does the 3 apply to the 5? Yes. Is the 3 also applied to the 4? Yes. This, how would this differ? This means that I'm applying it here but not here, right? That's different. Is that what you're going to answer? Okay, so what are these numbers here? You should have this one memorized.
25
And 64. Okay, dealing with ones and zeros. Here we go, dealing with ones and zeros. Evaluate, so what does this become? 13 to the 0. 1. Negative 9 to a 0. Just 1. Is the negative included in the exponent? Yes.
Can you have a negative 0?
negative. A 0 goes
I think my compass had
Okay, this one. So you're doing negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1.
I'm saying 9 actually. Yeah, 9. I knew it.
Negative 1.
I know what that one equals. Wait,
This one, I would have to think about this value. 10 to the 0. 1. Then times by 8. Okay, what are we doing here? Is this negative involved or separated? Separated. And then what's 13 to a first power? Just, that's what you're doing, right? Negative 1 separated. It's a separate idea.
13.
Negative 1 separated. 13 to the 1 is just a 13. So now it's negative 13. Negative 8. And negative 1 because I have to separate. It's a separate idea. Okay? This one and this one are different. Can you check out the second one and the last one? I tried to be tricky. This and this question, do you see? They're almost the same idea, but here I put the bracket with the negative and here not. So now this was included, positive one, and this is separate. Okay? So be careful with that. Okay, you're going to have some questions about bed mass, order of operations on your test without a calculator. So let's do exponent stuff here first. So I'm going to go 4 squared, 16. Now I'm going to evaluate this part which says negative 3 squared. This one is a negative 9 because that negative is not involved with its repetition. Do you see that trickiness? There's brackets, but the
power is in the bracket.
The power is...
Yep.
See this? This is my trick. I tried to make you think it was involved. Okay, there's my trickiness. Okay, now what am I going to do on the next bed mass move? I'm going to do a division. So that is a 4. Okay, now nothing matters about order, so you can do it as left to right if you would like. So we could go 16 minus 4.
I got 3, but a different way.
Okay, and you should not have touched your calculator because you're practicing for your test and you're not allowed a calculator in your test, and it'd be about that level. So you can see that everything there was manageable without a calculator, right? Okay, here we go. We should do this evaluation right there would be a good pick. We could also evaluate this because we could do a bracket. So what's inside that bracket? So do you see a difference in this format? This squared was in the bracket with the 4, and then this cubed was outside the bracket. So this was applying. Do you guys know that I'm going to separate an idea here because I feel like this is going to be a mistake. Okay, if I was to times stuff in brackets, we talked about this being good. This was the idea. Okay, we talked about that earlier. This was good. Do you know that this does not work the same way?
You have to add them.
Yeah. That doesn't work the same way, okay? So don't make that mistake. I know that we talk about separating them with a multiplying, but they cannot do that with adding like that. That does not work the same. Okay, I need you to get me a value on what bed mass? Brackets. I need a bracket here. So think if you go down 15 and then down 16 more, how much down are you altogether now? Negative 31. And you can also do some exponent stuff. Okay, so bed mass, I should get some multiplying here first. So there's a multiply. Negative times negative makes positive. What's 4 times 100? 400. And what's 4 times 25? 100. So that's going to be 500. I kind of broke it down. Did you see my mental math? 4 times the 100 and 4 times the 25. Okay, you're gonna have some word problems on your test. So, surface area. So what's the area of this cube? So you have to take every single square area. So if the length is 6, it's going to be a 6 by 6. So the area of a square is actually 6 squared. 6 times 6, so that's 6 squared. Okay. How many sides do I have to include in a box? There's going to be 6 because there's 4 around and then a top bottom. Okay, this is something you could do, but there's also another way I could have actually wrote this now here too. Anybody know a different way I could write this? 6 to a power of 3, yeah. That's also going to be the same. Just because this was a bunch of 6s repeating. I repeated a 6 and then 2 more 6s. 216. What kind of units? I'm going to expect some kind of unit. Centimeters squared. Okay, so hypotenuse stuff. So we know this about hypotenuse. A squared plus b squared equals c squared.
But how am I writing A?
It's 13.
So I'm going to go 5 squared plus 12 squared. Okay, I'm going to do it without a calculator again. So 5 squared is 5. 144. So 169 equals c squared. And you know what? I asked you for the area. So do I even need to worry about the side length squared?
No.
No, because c squared, this is c, c squared would end up being the area. If I asked you for the side length, though, it would be square root it. Okay. This would be some calculator stuff. Yeah, now I have to think about what did I do on your test. Might have to do a calculator page. Okay. We're going to do the area of this square. So this has a side length of 60. So the area of it's going to be 60 squared, because 60 times 60 on the square. Okay, without a calculator.
1,200.
What's 6 squared? 36. 2 zeros.
Oh, why did I do 6 plus 6?
Okay, and then the area of the circle is pi times. Yes. This one would be a calculator question. Ooh, what is the radius?
30.
30.
Radius squared is 900. Wait. Oh my goodness, what did I just do?
Is everybody physically using a pi button?
Yes. Shift pi. 2,824.
Okay, at the very end of the question, what I did was I took the whole square minus the middle circle, and that gives me my answer of just the little outside leftovers. Right? Minusing them. Does that make sense? I did the whole square minus that center circle, and that answer at the leftover would be the shaded edge. Okay, a type of bacterium is known to quadruple.
So times 4.
Timesing by 4 every hour. 70 to start with. How many are there going to be after 5 hours? So what are we going to do? We're going to start with 70. And then we need to quadruple. So times by 4. And then we would have to, the next hour, times by 4 again, and times by 4 again. Every time it was quadrupling. So I'm going to do a... This is representing me timesing by 4, timesing by 4, timesing by 4, timesing by 4. Okay? I'm not including the 70 in there. It's this just the start. It was an afterthought. It's not involved in the repetition. Okay, that's going to be big because the first time I do it, it's 280. And then 280 times 4. And then big. Like it's going to be big.
Okay, good, I did it right.
My grade 12ers have to do that kind of question.
Oh, so we're smart.
Yeah, look at you.
In their head.
Okay, and the last few questions that I have. Okay, the last questions are my tricky ones. Okay, here we go. Coefficient questions. Involved or separated?
Separate.
Separated. So get those out. So what's the coefficient that's separated?
What?
45 is separated. Then x repeated 7. Coefficients
Together.
involved. They're involved, so I have to include them with this repetition. So you have to repeat 2 times 2 times 2. 8. This one is also involved, so you're going to have to do work on that.
No, that's 9 actually.
9. Then there's coefficients here, but now these coefficients are separated as a 72.
The power of 4. Oh, there's a 3 there. It's actually not a
Okay, a couple more and then we're done.
nothing. I put a 2.
Okay. Okay, 48 divided by 6. This is separated. 8. A to the subtract.
Oh, I did not.
Okay. Last part.
What? I have to pee.
Okay, on this question, I would say that the exponent is involved. So I have to think about that. 6 times 6 times 6.
36 times 3, 90, 100, and 260. I was close. Right?
Okay, and then I'm involved here again, so I'm going to have to think about 2 squared.
That's 4. Thanks, Kate. Yeah.
Okay, let's divide here because I don't know what that would be. Okay, how many times does 4 go into 2? It doesn't.
I think I tried. Or I did 4 divided by
4 goes into 21 5 times.
Wait, what did you get? 54?
And then drop down 16, so it goes in there 54 times. And then you have to do exponent rule. Division means to subtract.
Oh, there's hair in my mouth. Actually, I don't think that's hair.
Okay, and again, some of you might have wrote a 1 at the top of your A. That's not wrong, it's fine. Okay, is the coefficient involved?
Yes.
Yes, so you got to do that. 2 to the 6th. Without a calculator. So we're at 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Okay, and again, I'm expecting that those values on your test without the calculator. And what's the rule? I need to do what with this? Multiply 24.
Was always there. 7 to the power of 0. Alexis, that's 1, right? Oh, that's
Okay, on this one, everything is involved with the exponent.
Oh, wait, so it's just y.
So if I take anything, doesn't matter what I put into this bracket, I have wild things going on, anything to the 0
Is 1.
is 1. Doesn't matter what's in the bracket, I'm not even looking. 1. Okay.
One number.
Same kind of idea here. Anything to the 0 is 1. But what about this 12 business? It was not involved with that. So I have to do this work after.
I think it's 12. Can you do, wait. So the answer is in 12, or wait.
It's 12.
Yeah, just 12.
Yeah.
I wrote 12x.
No, there's no x's. Yeah. Yeah. Because if you wrote 12x, it'd be like saying that, right? But what is the rule when you do that? When you multiply, there isn't an x. So that's different, right? Okay, 2 more, 3 more. Here we go. Let's talk about this first.
It's 1, actually.
Even. You should think even.
Yeah, because the number is
1. And then we're going to go times 20. 20.
What's 6 times? Oh, that's actually.
Okay, on this one, I'm going to think like this first. 1 repeated 10 times
10.
is 1. times 6 after. And on this one, I'm going to think about what's 3 times 1, 3. And then cubed is,
Can I go get a drink of water?
yeah.